Hi, and welcome back to our conversations with Polina Klimovitskaya, Francis Scholl, and myself, Polina Klimovitskaya. If you want to learn more about us, please go to the descriptions, the website, and links are there, Polina's classes, etc. And we, jumping off from our previous conversation, we were just talking about the drunk man and the logic behind it. And also just starting off with, Polina, what is your process of getting to the drunk man and doing? We were talking about mental images that people bring with them sometimes when they're trying to, for instance, play a drunk man. But overall, we were having some discussions about the organic experience and playing a drunk man and how your process is intertwined with that.
Okay, Francis, you would like to start something to say before we go?
No. I mean, Polina, I love your work. I love you. I love your approach. The stage is yours.
Okay. I'm honored and lucky with wonderful people. I work with wonderful artists, wonderful people. So we go back to drunk man exercise that I mentioned before. So what happens is, as Louis and Francis were talking, is we have an expectation. Everybody knows what it means to be drunk. Everybody has this mental image of it, ideas and things. And if that image is dominating the experience, then that's what we are trying to copy. So we usually, and that happens, of course, to basic acting things. We consciously, subconsciously copy the mental image we have. Now, the purpose and all the work we're doing in acting is to experience, because when we experience, there is no knowing. When I put my foot down, I do not know anything else but that moment of changing how my weight moves and changes from one foot to another. So the experience happens in totality of our being, we call it body, but it's just a word that is pointing to the surface of my being. But so the being body being, whatever we call it, the experience is only can be in each specific moment. We cannot experience if we're not present. And the whole idea, of course, you read all the actors, teachers and directors say, you are not present, please be present. And I always ask when I said, what the hell it means? I'm here, I'm looking at you, I'm listening to you. I'm present, what else you want from me? Right? It's the same way I hate when I was told, relax, and I would get immediately more tense. Right. You know, make my fist very strong and then relax it and hate it more. Okay, so these are mental instructions. The actual process of life is, of course, different. We are trying now in our kinetic explorations to get to that thing. So the first thing, it does use our good analytical mind. Because what happens when we're drunk? The gravity center drops. The center in the brain that controls us and keeps us vertical gets a little, that's why the drunkenness is happening, right? So the control loosens. The whole neurochemical and electrical messaging inside of us is altering. Don't need to hold. So that dropping the center, gravity center, instantly, it's like an injection, right? Right, taking drugs, yes, alcohol is a drug. It's an injection that changes the inner flow of the fluids in the body. I think that everybody probably noticed when people very drunk, their voices change for the better. Drunk people singing Depends, of course, when they're drunk, when they're passing out, we let it go. But in any group, you know, if you go to all this, I remember the villages and things, when people get enough drunk to let the body let going of that holding, stimulate the fluids. We have so much fluids in the body. The fluids affect the voice. And they not only affect the voice, they affect the whole chemistry, the chemicals move through us. You see what we're doing? It's actually, yes, it's science of human nature. So the fluids move through everything. They engage the system. It's all floating. That's all that's what today we have, the flow, the floating, all the things. So it allowed the whole communication become more smooth. The control is getting more and more out. The voice flows like liquid through the body. The gravity moves, and then the body is naturally will want to survive. Like the drunk man I observed in the subway who managed never to fall out of the train, standing against the opening door was quite amazing. And so the survival instinct, along with the change in the whole body, so to speak, chemical composition, we become less electrical, we become more chemical. Fluids work more. The electricity gets a little less, and it promotes unbelievable, fascinating movement and vocal variations that we don't get when we are not drunk. So we go to experience of being drunk. Number one, as an actor, I go to experience of being drunk. I don't know yet what it means. I got to experience in my full fluidity, the communication of all my body centers, all my nerves and things, they become unpredictable to me. If I follow the mental image, I'm predictable. I know what I do. Audience is always more intelligent than any most brilliant performance. So the audience knows that you are copying and what you're showing. But when I watched the drunk man on the subway, I didn't know what's going to be next thing. I missed my stop. It's fascinating. Yeah. He didn't know, I didn't know. That is a major challenge to an actor, not to know. The most unforgettable scene of Marlon Brando in Godfather, when accidentally the cat comes into the shot, and Brando just takes the cat and let his hand to caress it. Yes, shoot him. And that shot of Brando, he didn't expect. Why a simple action like that, nobody can forget, becomes a classical shot. So when we working in exercise with drunk men, number one, we're bringing awareness to gravity. Because in our mental efforts, we basically block out that the earth holds us here. So that already makes us more present. Any conscious recognition on our side of our organic nature makes more of us, makes us more big here. So we go gravity. We don't give ourselves an advice to relax, because if I start to work on gravity and feel the change in centers, and I have to keep my balance, I start to play. Also, it's a game. Like kids, we start to play with it. If you're really drunk and you do this in being drunk, you're not an artist, you're just being drunk. But, and then it's not interesting because it's in life. What's fascinating in acting, that you are not drunk and you play and enjoy and you create the drunkenness. And that's what's fascinating, because then audience participates in for themselves. We have a distance and possibility to see what happens to us automatically. So as artists, we bring whole other sense to the mechanically experienced moments of life. And it creates incredible, just finish, what it does, it releases the inborn imagination. We don't let our body to move in all the possibilities it can move. Yes, Lou.
Yeah, thank you, Polina. It just brought up something you have said to me in class before, and I was doing a movie. So any actor knows that who's worked on TV or film and stage, you know the difference, right? There's a difference about who's there. You know, your audience is not, you're not on stage if you're doing a film. Something you shared with me, Polina, I was playing experiencing playing a drunk person, and if you are in a film, to use the people who are around you, who might be the DP, it might be the person holding the boom, it might be the person behind you, that you bring them into your experience so that they are part of it. So when you do film, I think some people think, oh, it's only me and the camera, but it's the whole room of where the camera exists. And it's the people within that room that get experience, and you can feel the energy like you do if you're on stage. That same, what Polina was talking about, bringing in, you don't know what's going to happen and they don't know what's going to happen. And there's gets this energy in the room or on the stage. So I want to share that piece. Francis, do you have something you want to share as far as what Polina was talking about too?
What I've heard Polina say, which you're thinking, like, really, when you think of it, as you experience as an actor, you know, following what Polina is saying, not a mental image, but an experience, and taking yourself through the experience. So then it's accepting not to know.
Yeah.
So you really like moment to moment discovering, and the discovery is actually truly, when you think of it, this is what acting is about. Seeing somebody on stage discovering for the first time, the first kiss, the first death, the first loss, the first whatever, the first car accident, and the first divorce, the first disagreement, no, with their beloved, whatever, you know. So it's actually extremely simple. It's deep, but it's simple. Like, you accept that you're going through a physical experience. You accept not to know what the physical experience will be about. And you discover what this physical experience is through your sensations. And of course, it brings up emotions, brings up whatever, but you know, that's from the place of the character, not from the place of the performer. You know, so because now you are the character experiencing what the character is experiencing, you know. So I was thinking, like, if there's any definition of acting, this is allowing oneself to experience so that we can discover live what it means for this particular character to go through whatever the script is. You know?
Nice. That's beautiful.
Something I want to pull out of what you're saying, it's very important. It's also a whole topic, but let it mention it. I observed, as I was trained in Russia, when I started drama school, I was already on a stage from very early age. And it was a natural, organic, very simple experience that gave incredible joy. And then after studying, I come on a stage and goes the whole thing, oh, my action, my objective, my subtext. Acting, actually just, I think the fundamental element of life is simple. It is much more simple than we teachers made it sound. It's simple, but because we're so hooked, waiting for the things, it's very difficult to acknowledge what you're talking. It's simple that I how I keep the balance, and how I let my body to place, almost losing balance, but I cannot fall down. That's the game. So I'm playing drunk. I'm playing drunk. It's so simple. I cannot be faked because it's in me, in my body. I cannot lose the balance, yet I'm playing, teasing people around me. Look, I think I'm falling down. I'm teasing myself. I'm falling down. I can't fall down. I can loosen again. Wow, that's what people do. And then how I pick myself up. Look how many simple things, amazing things happened. And that's experience, simple experience in everything I'm trying to help, actors. It's simple. It's really simple. And in that simplicity, you are in touch with your senses. You're in touch with the law of the nature. You're part of that. Gravity makes us part of the nature. This incredible exercise going along with that I've done, that I love to do, is I've done it, at Gratovsky Center. I've done it in many places. Is dealing also with this. It's falling down. Gravity pulls you and getting up, and it's a resistance. So what is very interesting? What is our being vertical? We resist gravity. Look how much in one simple game exploration is there. So I have to be vertical. I cannot let myself to fall down, right? I resist gravity, and then I fall down, and it's fantastic. I'm on a beach and the sun relax, and then somebody yells me, Polina, let's go, and I have to get up, and I resist it. So for me, getting up, it's whole incredible process. Because I have to resist the gravity, I have to get my body. Of course, I can go whoop, but if you take a long time, not from your head to drop down, but to watch how your body actually goes down. Young students who go to gym and everything can take endless movement classes. They have difficulties to let their body, without using hands, to let the body gradually find the way dropping, and get down on the floor. And they have difficulties without using their hands, just a thing finding what pulls them up. And that simple thing that follows usually the drunk exercise of how slowly, and more time you take experiencing how your body gets down, and then what is in me, you become aware. It's like we get internal microscope, and we become aware of all these many steps that we do. Stanislavski, on a psychological level, always talk about that actors jump and don't go through each step, whatever they deliver. So basically here with Stanislavski system, but in a more kind of concrete, biological, physical way. Noticing this step, because of course I can go quickly, get, on the floor and then get up. But I will not notice these points. Punctualism, it's another thing. Punctualism, I like to call, what we're doing punctualism, it's point by point by point. And when you have to travel point by point, you not only surprising to others, you yourself cannot hold an agenda. The main thing is, if you're not surprised in your performance, you are surprised, then the audience is not surprised. So this whole process, very, very simple, actually encompasses many, many elements. Yes, Lou, you wanted to say something? No?
No, I was thinking, but I think if we can stop now, there's so much more, to talk about. And that's why we are having these conversations. But I think what I came out with, there's so much you just said, it's hard to almost encapsulate it, but I guess simple is a word to remember. And also bringing it away from your head so that you can experience it. And if you experience it, the audience can experience it. And Francis has his hand up.
No, because I'm just thinking, because the getting out of your head, actually the getting out of your head is an outcome, is a byproduct of the tension between standing straight and falling.
Yeah.
And if you're really involved in a struggle, then you're not in your head, because I'm telling you, you don't want to break a bone, so no, it's true. So this is where the tension, the true tension, keeps you busy and busy physically, and that's it. And when you're busy physically, you just think about what's happening, which is the physical struggle. You don't think
staying in the moment of what
you are in the moment. You are in the moment. There's no other way. Otherwise, if you're not in the moment, you fall on your butt, and you break your leg.
And we don't want to fall on our butts.
And by the way, because I'm French, I have to say this, but everything that Polina was talking about, rushing and not rushing and taking your time, sorry, and then we close on this, is exactly the same with lovemaking. Stop